the Croc City of Kaduna. You are listening to Invicta 98.9 FM. It's time for the Never Dull Moment program on radio. That's talking about Ground Zero. Ground Zero is a program that's designed to bring up topical issues in the polity. With analysts and you, the listener, we try to make sense out of all of it. And today on the program, we are going to do exactly just that. I'm sure it's no longer news that Nigeria is once again in the eye of, I wouldn't say the storm, the world, as once again everybody all over the world is looking in the direction of Nigeria as we are setting another record, joining another league of nations that are considered to be very, very concerned about the kind of information that citizens of their country are exposed to and the kind of information that citizens of their country also dish out to the world. I'm talking about using the global microblogging platform, Twitter. Yes, when I mention Twitter, I'm sure Nigerians already know or have an idea of what we are talking about. Nigerian government, I'm sure most people would know, have suspended Twitter and Nigerians are reacting. We'll be looking at this particular suspension, the importance, the import, the impact, and why Nigerians are reacting. And of course, looking at if there is anything bad in even blocking Twitter as it were. Also on the program today, we'll be looking at other social media platforms and how this particular suspension will affect use and operation of other social media platforms. Not forgetting that it is all part of having a level playing field for everybody to be able to share information and get information. And freedom of speech. That's what it's all about. And of course, the need for us to know or properly engage the government the right way, the right time, and like my friend will say, and the right how. All right. My guest on the program today I already have seated with me in the studio, Zwaho Yanwedi. He's a media consultant and an analyst. Zwaho, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Eddie Ochidbo will join us in the course of the program, and together we will look at all of these issues. But let's just do a little background. Nigerian government says it has indefinitely suspended Twitter's operation in the country. The Ministry of Information and Culture announced in a statement on Friday. The federal government has suspended indefinitely the operations of the microblogging and social networking service Twitter in Nigeria. It reads, the statement, which was posted on the ministry's official Twitter handle, blocking Twitter on Twitter handle, Friday evening, accused the American social media company of allowing its platform to be used for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence. Some pointed out the irony of announcing the ban of Twitter, with one person replying, "You are using Twitter to suspend Twitter." I will not mention the other things that the guy said too. The suspension occurs 2 days after Twitter deleted a tweet by President Muhammadu Buhari that was widely perceived as offensive. In that tweet on Tuesday, the Nigerian president threatened to deal with people in the country's particular region who he blames for recurring attacks on public infrastructure in the region. Many of those, now quoting him, many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand, Buhari wrote in a now deleted tweet referring to the 2-year Nigerian Biafra war, which killed the estimated 3 million people from southeastern part of the country between 1967 and 1970. The tweet was deleted on Wednesday after many Nigerians flagged it to Twitter, and the platform said it had violated its policy of abusive behavior. Information Minister Lai Mohammed criticized Twitter's action and accused the social media giant of double standard. Lai Mohammed also quoted Twitter's motives in Nigeria, saying the mission of Twitter in Nigeria is very, very suspect. At a news conference on Wednesday, after Buhari's tweet was deleted, Twitter said in a statement that it is deeply concerned by the blocking of Twitter in Nigeria. Access to the free, open internet is an essential human right in modern societies. We will work to restore access for all those in Nigeria who rely on Twitter to communicate and connect with the world, it said in a statement. Twitter cites from the early hours of Saturday, Twitter's site was inaccessible for many Nigerians. It was a swift implementation of government ban which took effect just hours after the policy was announced. Most Nigerians have condemned the ban, with the country's main opposition party describing the move as unwarranted and punishing Nigerians to the wall. Well, let's basically look at this. We basically have the background of all of these, and would like to generally talk about it just like we did last week. We'll start the discussion. We'll open the phone lines, pick some of the issues, come back to the studio, discuss them before we do the final opening of the phone lines. So, Zuahu, many questions, many impressions, and the need for us to generally properly understand that, one, the federal government in its wisdom believes that Twitter is not doing Nigerians any good. And Nigerians feel that banning Twitter is a way of stopping their free right to free speech. And we also know that freedom of speech, of course, is also limited. We can't say because of freedom of speech we would want to impede on the freedom of someone else to speak. Why not doing all of that? Now, first, Twitter. What is even Twitter? Let's start from there. What's Twitter? It can be banned now, or it cannot be banned now. Yeah. Do we really have people using Twitter as a standard means of communication?
Yeah, well, of course, in Nigeria, definitely not as much as Facebook. And honestly, personally, I do not have figures. I'm not into ICT to the extent that I will give you. I'm just a user of ICT. I'm not a professional. Okay, so I won't be able to give you some very fine details or data and stuff like that. But of course, you have said it. It's a micro blogging platform, a social medium that has become pretty much the language of the day. It is.
Quickly, I have this. More than 39 million Nigerians have a Twitter account, according to the NOI poll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. It's not anywhere near Facebook, for instance, and that's your point I'm making. But I think the banning is very, very significant because people construe it as government's effort to impede free speech. And that is where the problem is. People have to be able to be free to express themselves or to speak out, even against the government, if they so need to. After all, there is no government anywhere in the world that has not been spoken against. Okay, but the people that we have seen with the practice of banning media platforms, either social or traditional media, have tended to be very, very dictatorial. in the past and even up until even in present. In China, for instance, they do not use Twitter. They have their own. I've forgotten the name now. They have their own platform which they use, and the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, really monitors that, because the Chinese Communist Party, China is pretty much a one-party state, and then it is pretty much herding its population in a certain direction. So you don't have that kind of freedom that is expected of a modern society. Okay, in some other countries around the world, mostly in Asia, you have this kind of control being put in place. So for us to begin to see here in Nigeria, it is only natural that people will raise eyebrows. So that's the problem here. But I think for me, of bigger, of a higher significance, is what even led to the banning of Twitter in Nigeria. Okay.
And we will come to that now. The president made that particular tweet. Which you, a media consultant, an analyst, a practitioner, looking at that particular tweet, which was verbatim of what the president said, if you were his minders, his media handlers, what would you have done with?
First of all, I do not even think that the president used his hands to type that tweet.
That was what I said. If you were his minder,
I do not even think. But I think that was a monumental disgrace. It's a monumental failure on the part of the media team of the president. Okay? Whether we like it or not, the fact remains that this government as it is in this country today is not enjoying the best of ratings. If there is anything that the government should do, it is to be able to try to see how it will bring citizens closer to it, to endear citizens, endear itself to citizens. But unfortunately, that language, the wording, and even the I don't know, is it the philosophy or the ideology behind that language is most unfortunate. We had a 30-month civil war which ended in 1970. It ended in 1970, and up till now, because we were talking with someone at a writers' forum earlier this afternoon. That's where I just we're saying that, look, the Second Republic was pretty much a transitional period, so to say. But effectively, Nigeria was for 33 years under the military. Okay? And that was a period of arrested development, socially and politically. It was a period of arrested development. And there are lots of things that we have not discussed. There are lots of things that we have not resolved in this country, okay? And one of those things is the Civil War. We have not had sufficient conversation around the Civil War. Most of the books that were written, concerning the Civil War were written by the Southeasterners, okay? Many other parts of this country, have not been a part of, this conversation. In the North, for instance, how many people have written anything concerning the Civil War? So pretty much it was a period of arrested development from 1966, when the military first came into power, until 1999, when we found ourselves in this new dispensation. That's the fourth republic. Okay, so but the government at the time tried to do something. For instance, NYSC, to get people to integrate. And the government at the time, declared no victor, no vanquished. The head of state at the time, Yakubu Gowon, said, look, it was a misunderstanding between brothers, but we are moving forward and all of that. We hope that going forward, Nigerians will try to make sure that we move forward, simply because some elements from the southeast, have approached things in the manner that they should not approach, and all of that. For the president to invoke the raw memories of the Civil War to say we are going to deal with you in like manner, it is most unfortunate, and I think that has dragged us back. It has dragged us back, okay, very, very seriously. Yeah, they have been burning, which is very, very despicable and reprehensible. They have been burning infrastructure, government institutions, police stations, INEC offices, and all of that. They have been, vandalizing them and burning them. Up till now, we still call them unknown gunmen. So I don't know the certitude with which the president or the presidency or the government has approached this issue, to the extent that it is bringing those sentiments, of yore to bear around here. And many people, I also have asked, for how many years have we been under the menace of banditry? Communities sacked, okay, herders' cattle rustled, farmers' fields, destroyed, people in IDP camps, people kidnapped and raped, and every manner of thing being done to them. Did anybody invoke that kind of language to talk to them? Nobody has done that. And in fact, we have been at the heat of it. And then because some people did, bad as it is, then you go and bring that kind of language to use. I think it is most unfortunate. I feel very, very sad and let down once again by the Nigerian state.
Wow. We'll link up with Eddie Ochigbo in a minute to also get his angle to this. And now, looking at, of course, the press briefing by Lai Mohammed, where he said that we do not understand the mission of Twitter in Nigeria, and the fact that even during the EndSARS protest, it was believed that Twitter sponsored and even released funds for them to carry out that particular protest. And if one really looks at it, taking away we really cannot divorce the president's statement from the tweet now, the president's sentiments from the tweet now. One may feel that yes, the position of Lai Mohammed is in fact
tenable,
not terrible.
Tenable.
Tenable. Yes,
yeah.
Yes. Looking at it, okay.
See,
why must they get themselves involved in what Nigeria is doing as a nation?
That's another point I'm coming to.
Yeah.
That's another point I'm coming to. Now, what I said earlier, especially pertaining to what the president said, his wording of what he said, okay, as much as I have serious issues with that, I also have serious issues with a private profit-making company, having that kind of power. But the power did not start being expressed now. And for anybody that is celebrating that Twitter has done this to the president, it's just a matter of time. They will do it to you.
Yeah.
They will do it to you. Now, Twitter, even in the laws of the United States, okay, Twitter, all the social media platforms, Twitter, Google, YouTube, Facebook, they are supposed to be merely platforms. They are not. They are supposed to be, so to say, value free.
Yeah.
Okay, they are supposed to be value free, so that whatever I post there, I am liable. They are not liable.
Yeah.
But the moment they begin to police
it, exercise control,
just
the way they pull down that of Donald Trump, which generated a whole lot of issues over in the US now.
Up until now. Okay. So today in the US, they are enjoying that because the people that control the mainstream narrative, okay, they are in cahoots with the Twitters,
they
the
call
Facebooks,
them the 5 big techs.
the 5 big techs.
Google, American Online, Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
and there's one more, 5 of them.
That's Amazon.
Amazon.
Okay. In fact, when in the US, when the, so to say, the right people, not necessarily the conservatives, or okay, let us put it, conservatives and the Republicans, okay, when they realized that, look, these people are restricting us, they are not allowing us enough space to be able to talk the way they decided to go and found their own company, which is called Parler.
Yeah.
They call, the Americans will say Parler. It's French to speak Parler.
Okay.
They founded their own Parler, and in no time, okay, Parler was removed from the iOS market. The
various marketing platforms where people can easily access all of these apps.
Yes. They remove the app stores. They are app stores. Okay, they removed from Parler, and then Amazon removed it from its hosting facility. Amazon is the biggest online hosting hosting. They removed Parler. Up till now, the issue is I think they have come back now. They are on iOS. I don't know. They are not yet on Android. Okay, because so they are now not just a communication. They are not just platforms, but they have become economic, social, and political behemoths.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they are controlling narratives. Today, it suits them to control what Buhari is saying, or the Buhari's government is saying.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. And some people are clapping for them today. Tomorrow is going to be you.
Yeah.
So they are actually supposed to allow this thing. Anybody, if you say anybody, if I say anything against you on Twitter, it is not Twitter's business to stand up for you.
Yeah.
It is for you to go and assert your rights.
Yes.
We have courts.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that is the problem. So we are faced with the devil and the deep blue sea on both sides. We have a situation whereby we are afraid that government is restricting or limiting our freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And then we have another situation where somebody is deciding what he wants to get heard.
All right, Eddie Ochibo. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you very much, Ahis, and my regards to Izwahu.
Thanks.
All right, I'm sure you've been following us.
Sure, yeah, sure.
All right, give us your general impression about this whole Twitter ban and the flakes that's coming from different quarters.
Thank you very much, Ahis. I don't know how to. Izwahu painted a very, very good picture of what we are faced with. And without sounding like a broken record, I don't want to repeat it, but the greatest threat that faces Nigeria as a nation today is national unity.
Okay.
Mine, I don't want to go into this Twitter talk. I'm not even a good fan of tweet. I just tweet and run away. You know how they do that. And so,
yes, I do.
You understand? So it's not even an issue of Twitter. The Twitter issue have been overshadowed by the overwhelming insecurity in the nation. And then to go and then pull down Twitter that people will use to comfort themselves and express condolences, you pull it down, all these things. It's an overkill, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
That's an overkill. And we should. I want to appeal to statesmen across all the 6, geopolitical zones in the country today. That what we are doing, what we are facing is not only existential, but its reality is facing us.
Okay.
They let everything be done by the statesmen. Let them call a national dialogue, not just in the villa there to sit with anybody and say, look, if we don't want to prove that 2015 prophecy about Nigeria to be a failed state, then let's come together. I'm sure you people still remember the prophecy about 2015.
Yeah.
That Nigeria will be a failed state, so we'll be able to patch up and keep patching and patching. Now, the reality stares us in the face.
Okay.
There should not. We have so much to lose if we divide than what we will gain if we remain united.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Eddie, let's take some messages. After these messages, we'll open the phone lines. We'll listen to some impressions, then we'll come back to the studio and discuss some of the impressions by our callers.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right. You're still listening to Ground Zero on Invicta 98.9 FM. And this evening, we are looking at the suspension of Twitter in Nigeria and the reactions that are coming from Nigerians in respect of this particular ban. After these messages, we would want you to add your voice to the conversation. Give us your impression. You tell us where you are coming from. And you would also, like always, rate the Nigerian government in respect of this particular thing. On a scale of 1 as in not happy at all, and 10 as in the government has done what is very, very right. That's exactly what we are doing this lovely evening on the program Ground Zero. Okay, before that commercial break, I said after the commercial break, we'll take some calls. Call the number 081400989 and 07087800989. Not very happy, 0. That's not very happy, not satisfied, 0. Very satisfied, 10. In a scale of 1 to 10, you give us your impression about this suspension of Twitter in Nigeria. Hello, good evening, welcome to Ground Zero.
Good evening, Sabon.
Good evening, my brother. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Awusko from Nasarawa.
All right, Awusko.
I'm very impressed with the ban on Twitter. Our leaders must learn lessons from civilized leaders. Donald Trump never banned Twitter because we banned him. We must learn lessons from that. On a scale of 1 to 10,
yes,
I give them 0%.
No, I want you clearly understand it. If they've not done well at all, if you are not happy, is 0. If you are not satisfied, is 0. If you are satisfied, is 10.
I'm not satisfied. I give them 0.
Okay, you get that they didn't do well at all.
The ban was illegal. Thank you.
All right. So let's say Awusko got it. That's inverse. Let's take this other call. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero. Hello. Hello, Comrade Gabriel. Hello, Comrade Gabriel.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you hear us now?
What I'm saying is that I'm not happy. That's 0. And I have to have 2 regrets because I've already typed 2 tweets to send to the president and the governor of Kaduna State. Unfortunately, I cannot do it now. So that's one of my regrets also. And the great has said everything that Nigerians are supposed to listen, and he has said it on. And may the Almighty God bless you and data and your blessing as you in Jesus' name.
All right, thank you, Comrade Gabriel. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, you are welcome to Ground Zero. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Lawal.
You are calling us from where?
Banawa.
Banawa, Lawal from Banawa.
Yeah.
All right, the Twitter ban.
10 over 10.
That you are very happy or not happy?
I'm happy about it.
Okay, good. I think you are the one that's understanding the scale. Lawal, thank you so much.
You know why?
Yeah, tell me why.
Twitter is a business and Nigeria is a country.
Okay.
So the president is the leader of a country. Why is Twitter a social media? That even require our CAC approval by the president. It's just like banning a Dangote or banning a radio station, and you now say the president is wrong. The Twitter have no right. It's just like broadcasting a presidential broadcast, and then you now say you have banned your radio station from broadcasting a president public broadcast. So I don't think it's right time everybody look at rights and privileges. Not just for us to say Twitter is a social media. People are paying for it, and Nigeria gives them the right to run it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lawal. All right. Let's see. Let's take a couple of more calls, then we'll analyze these calls and move on. Hello. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, Almajiri Dambaba.
Dambaba.
Yes, sir.
All right. Talk to us.
Yes. 10/10 against.
Okay, you are against the ban.
But I am saying 10/10. Why will the government ban Twitter? So I'm saying 10/10 against the government.
Okay. Zero, yeah. Oh, he's already gone. All right. Dambaba, thank you. 081400989 is the number to dial. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Ibrahim, come talk about.
All right, Ibrahim.
You see, what we want to yesterday is on comfort. But the notion, Twitter is not really doing well for Nigeria, especially the users, not the company. Nigeria is supposed to use this thing and be positive. So they do always use this negative. But anything that we bring down the nation, that will not stop it. But the thing that we make us first and be among the nation that are standing, people come and rejoice. And I want to what I support. I support the ban yesterday.
Okay, you support the ban.
Ahead of 20% not go among it. It's very nice because the US nation. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll take, let's see. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Ground Zero.
Hello, good evening, my Ovado.
Good evening. You're welcome to the program.
Ogunwale is on the line.
All right, Ogunwale.
I do not support the ban of Twitter.
Okay.
Because bandits, they cannot be able to ban them. Boko Haram, they cannot be able to ban them. Kidnappers, they cannot be able to ban them. The Nigeria hate the truth. And they forget, truth is God and God is truth. That's the name of my brother.
All right, thank you. Hello, good evening.
Hello, and the in the studio.
Good evening. You are welcome to the program.
My name is Emmanuel from Kurumleti. Honestly, I did not support the ban of Twitter in Nigeria. Understand?
Yeah.
Because the truth is that it help with the help of Twitter. Some people, you know, our nation today, insecurity everywhere. Most of the people, with the help of Twitter, they are doing their business online. They are doing it comfortably. So, and in the issue of this Twitter, if a governor they cannot be able to ban the citizen of Nigeria, the adoption in the school, and all that, why is the need of banning Twitter? But so much is not support. So I give them 0%. They should not ban Twitter in Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel. And let's take our last call now. Then we'll look at some of these issues. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Okay, I'm Monday from television.
All right, Monday.
I want to say that God has placed America as the police of the entire world.
Okay.
So we should know that it's because of that that we have relative peace in this world. So
okay.
The ban is uncalled for. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's come back to the studio. If we look at the score sheet here, we have about 5 people saying they are not happy and 3 people saying they are very happy. So, yes.
But let me
Yeah. Yeah. Other nations unnecessarily.
They only concentrated. Yeah, sorry, let me just
Let's take it
that.
from the top.
Yes,
Yeah.
I said from the comment of the last person, okay, when he said America is the world police and all of that. For me, I was happier when there was a government in America that said America first. It is only interested in the affairs of America. Every other person is secondary.
Yeah.
And if they will do anything with anybody, it's really, really business.
Yeah.
They don't care, and they will go negotiate with you and all that. And we saw that under Trump. And Trump is on record as in fact, from the 20th century up to, he is the only president that has not started another war, or maybe one other, that has not started another war since he came. Okay? He minded his business.
Yeah.
He said, if you want us to help you, come pay us, we will help you. But we won't just go there to want to help you. We'll negotiate. Okay? So that's how I want it. Really. Let Nigeria be Nigeria. But, you know, for goodness sake, these are platforms. These are, even though now, especially when Trump was there, they decided to have values which they would pursue. But actually, when they started, they were platforms. It was left for you to decide how you would use them.
Yeah.
And I know that for us in Kaduna State, for instance, if you want to reach Governor El-Rufai, just go to his Twitter
handle.
You will see it directly.
Open communication, free access.
Free access. Okay? It is good. That's a very, very good thing. Okay? And this, the federal government should actually see it as a means. Because if we have a president, or if we have presidents, I'm not talking about this one, that I used to hear in the past that the newspaper that presidents read, the newspapers they read are doctored newspapers, not the ones we see on the street. Because people around them would go and manipulate whatever and bring so that they see only what they want the president to see. So now we have something,
an open
platform that the president will really gauge
in his bedroom. He will just check and see what's happening.
The temperature and see what is happening, and then they are banning it. I think it is most unfortunate for me. Okay, and anyway, the kind of language that, as I said, that they used on the president's Twitter handle was very, very unfortunate. But I'm also careful. Because these people have become, that's the big tech companies. They have become very serious leaders of opinion, especially in terms of culture. And culture is very, very important. Culture, I mean, the way of people's life is very, very important. They have become leaders of opinion in politics. Of course, culture drives politics, or vice versa. Yeah. So that's where we find ourselves. So we are actually between the devil and the deep blue sea here. So we cannot simply celebrate, because either way we are not spared.
Yeah. Either way we are not spared. I'll be bringing on board Danjuma Abbas Dangwa in a minute. Let him give us his perspective to all of this, while Eddie Ochidbo should be on standby, because after Danjuma Abbas, Eddie Ochidbo will be giving us his perspectives too, before we finally now open up the phone lines for others to make their contributions. Okay, we just couldn't connect to Danjuma now, so we'll go straight to Eddie Ochidbo and get his perspectives, his impression about the calls that came in, and also add his voice to what the callers said. Eddie Ochidbo.
Thank you very much, Ahis.
All right, you had some of those callers, right?
Yes, I followed.
Okay, let's analyze some of their calls and their thinking.
First and foremost, Ahis, those who think like my brother Joa, who pointed out there now, think that our salvation lies in the West or for our former colonial people and all these things are mistaken. We must first and foremost, be able to be self-reliant. You cannot. You are weak everywhere. Industrialization, you are weak. Politics is not a politics that is prepared with equity and justice, and unemployment figure, and then we have more than 100 million people who go to bed hungry sometimes, and the rest of them. So we find ourselves in a very, very delicate situation. And that's why my opening statement, I said, look, what we are facing is not ordinary. It could be a planned plot by certain figures that, okay, look, let us balkanize Nigeria. And by tomorrow, when they balkanize, like when one of the respondents said that the minority will suffer if we get balkanized. This is you cannot even predict it. You don't know who will suffer.
Yeah.
The best is to remain together. And language of I tell you the language that you understand. We should not come in. Okay. This is time for elder statesmen to come together. Professors have analyzed, statements and standpoints of professors. We are all agreed that, look, Nigeria is drifting. It's not grandstanding that will save us. Not saying that, okay, because cows can move on foot. I mean, human being can move to any place, cows can move. No, bring people together and say, look, let us ventilate. There must be a ventilation of what is happening. If people don't ventilate, you shut them up. It's autocracy. It's not democracy.
And that's what
democracy is about. People,
Eddie,
let everybody have his own opinion.
Eddie was Twitter,
and we weigh it. Which one carries the day?
Eddie,
it's not about say, okay, one man is a strong man, is revered and feared like God, and nobody can talk. That is not the kind of thing we expect in this digital age.
All right, Eddie Ochibo. Eddie, can you hear me? I guess Eddie can't hear me. The communication seems to be one way. Let's see if we can get Danjuma Abbas to quickly add his voice to this conversation, and we move it on from there. And yes, Eddie did point out that it is necessary for people to be able to ventilate, which I believe that Twitter was doing to some extent. People can just go there and just run, shout, and all of that, and forget about the whole thing.
Okay.
Was it playing that role effectively?
Well, I think it was playing, but there are also mischief makers all over the place. Okay, there are mischief makers. There are people who will cry wolf where there is none. Okay, and there are people who will cry marginalization, forgetting that when they held sway, some other people also cried marginalization.
Yeah.
So the truth is, I don't know who it was that said it. I think it was Mogalu during the week.
Yes.
He said something like
on channels. Yes,
I can't. Yeah, he said something like, "Look, the only people that are marginalized are the rest of Nigerians by the political class."
Yeah.
Okay, if not, I mean, everybody is marginalized. Okay, so when I see some people shouting, give us whatever state we are calling for because we feel marginalized, I say this is, if you call them and sit them down and begin to talk with facts, you will realize, in fact, they too will realize that what they are saying does not hold water. And I think it is in communicating. Government should be able to communicate some of these things. Government should be able to communicate in facts and figures.
Yes.
Okay, is it Nnamdi Kanu that is talking? Bring Nnamdi Kanu, come and sit down, let's have open dialogue and let us see whom he's going to convince or otherwise. If it's another person like that, okay. So I think
081400989 Who is that lucky caller that will give us a general impression before we round it up this evening? Yes, I think we have one. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ground Zero.
Thank you, my brother. You are on to Kedan Chisom. I'm calling from Goringora in Kaduna.
Chisom.
All right, Chisom.
The ban on Twitter, my brother, is illegal and uncalled for, especially at this time. If you go to the opinion of Nigerians, many people are hungry, they are angry, they are worried. The timing is very wrong. If your wife is pregnant and does something that is very good, not that is not good, you don't touch her. Nigeria right now is pregnant, boy or girl, we don't know. So my brother, the banning has added more injury to many aggrieved Nigerians. It's uncalled for. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much.
So more like, if we are crying, allow us to cry. Eh?
Yes. Hello. Hello. Yes, you are welcome to Ground Zero.
Yeah, thank you. This is Sam calling.
All right, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. Your guests are speaking very well. You know, the other problem we have in our nation, especially on the big band of Twitter, if you not calculate, when our government they promise to unemployment, but those that are working under the Twitter now, you see that they have put a lot of hardship and unemployment on that set again. Now, we take statistics. Since this government entered the power, all the states, if they not sack, they are or killing or all these things. Where are we getting it? Are we going up or we are going down?
That's a big question that we may not have the answer for. Sam, maybe next week we will give you an opportunity to explain that to us, because we must have to wrap up the program this evening. So, Zwahu, let's have your parting shots.
Well, like many people have said, we are suffering. Allow us to cry. Twitter is one of the avenues through which we are able to at least cry and ventilate. That's number one. But again, and government can creatively, deploy Twitter. Okay, yeah. It should be able to get people to gauge the temperature and the mood in the country across, and see how they can creatively address the worries of Nigeria. That's one. But then again, I still want people that today you may be happy that the president's Twitter account or Twitter message was deleted and stuff like that. Be careful, because they can come for you. These guys don't care about you.
At all.
They don't care. It is their own interest. And if it is in their interest to jam Nigerians' heads against each other, they will do it, because that is their interest. So there is nothing, for me, fantastic about them. In fact, let them just allow us to communicate. Open platform.
Yes.
Open platform. Okay, I understand some people bring in hate speech and stuff like that, and some of these things have to be limited.
Yeah.
But honestly, you will see that these guys, it's not as if they really care about you. Okay? So let's be careful. While we hope that we have to be careful, I think we have to call on our government to allow us to be able to tell them or to tell it how we feel about it. And it does not matter whether they think that they have done well. If we think that we are not happy, they have to listen to us and they have to accept that we are not happy. By the way, they are our employees.
Yeah, and just like you said, they can also creatively use the Twitter. Well, if you allow us to cry via Twitter, you can also clean our tears via the same Twitter. Oh, I guess this is about the size of the program today, and I sincerely want to appreciate everybody that called in, and also to let you know that yes, as much as we want to ventilate, we should also know that the government also has a right to also react. We should balance everything. It's all about a game of balance, balancing everything.
I don't know which philosopher said virtue is in the middle.
Yeah. It's not to the right or to the left, but the balance.
Yes, the balance. Virtue is in the middle.
Word. All right. My name is Ehis Adon. Today on the program, Zuahu Yanwedi was with me on the program. He is a media consultant and an analyst. Eddie Ochibo joined me via the line because he just couldn't make it to the studio. And of course, every other person that called in this evening, once again, I sincerely appreciate you all. Let's keep the conversation going. I wanted to give my Twitter handle, but I was wondering.
No, you can give it.
You can go to Ground 0247. Ground 0247. Let's see if we can tweet at each other and keep the conversation going. It's Twitter today. Is it going to be Facebook tomorrow or Instagram? Let's keep the balance. Let's meet on Tuesday for another time out on the program Ground Zero. It's Invicta 98.9 FM.